Welcome everyone to another episode of the JSB GamesCast. I am your host Rob, aka Zen. Joining me today are my wonderful friends Ryan. How are you, sir?
I'm doing all right.
Yeah.
Was able to take some well-needed time off from work. I'm kind of on my PTO right now, so that's good.
Nice.
Yeah, outside of that, things have been great. Finally got to see the girl Cammy in action, and I'm super excited. I was already excited for Street Fighter 6. Now this was just like icing on the cake, and now we know why we saved Cammy for last, because she looks yes, total bias on this, but she looks the best in game for me.
They knew what they were doing.
They 100% knew what they were doing.
You know, it's pretty good. Cammy's for you. She's always voiced by Sawashiro, so that's a plus for me as well. Mm-hmm. So we're all eating. We're all eating good.
Yes.
Drew, how are you, sir?
I'm here. I'm existing.
Oh no.
Existing. We're all existing in this wonderful journey called life.
Existing in some way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to play some games. That's all there is to it.
Sounds good. Joining us this week, back, Katz. Welcome back. How are you?
Hello. Am I? The pile is growing once again.
Mm-hmm.
I'm staring at it. I'm not. Can't afford them, but you know, games do be piling.
Games continue to pile, and we cannot finish them at a fast enough rate.
And the issue is February just dropped like a whole bombshell of new games that I want to play, and that's not good.
Yeah, it's rough.
Time, man.
There's not enough time to do everything.
Yeah.
You know, on my end of things, I'm doing pretty good. It's been a long day. We recorded the anime podcast earlier today.
I got to catch a little bit of that.
Yeah, I saw you stop by in the chat for a little bit. I appreciate that.
Yep.
So a little housekeeping on that for anybody that is interested. We did start a JSB anime podcast headed by Asher Pinoy Grigio. It is live every other Sunday on his Twitch channel at twitch.tv/Pinoy Grigio. Pinoy spelled with a 1. And then it goes up on podcast services in audio form, as well as the video podcast on YouTube the following Monday. So definitely check those out if you're interested in anime. This week we talked about Blue Lock. It is the show is basically a book club style thing where every other week somebody picks a show for the rest of the hosts to watch, and then we kind of discuss and talk about it. So this next episode is going to be Dr. Stone. So if anybody wants to...
That's a good one.
Yeah. I'm pretty familiar with Dr. Stone. I think Asher hasn't seen it yet. So it's going to be really fun getting... fun for me rewatching it, and fun for us to get his opinion on his first time watching it. So definitely look forward to that coming soon. With that preamble out of the way... It is another week. It is another week of video games. We have all been playing, I hope, a bunch of video games. If not, maybe some interesting ones. Let us start with Ryan. Tell me about these rhythm games.
Yeah, this week, because like work and stuff like that, and I've been like taking a lot of my time off, just relaxing, stuff like that. It's been more or less a rhythm game week for me. 2 games that I played, DJ Max and Muse Dash, both had recent like DLC updates. Muse Dash added 6 more tracks to theirs, and they're also kind of like the more challenging, like as the tracks as far as they've like introduced everything has been probably the more challenging tracks that's been added. But it's like I think I'm pronouncing this right. The My DX collab is what they added, like 6 different songs from them. So pretty fun tracks. Muse Dash continues to be like one of my favorite games to play. And then DJ Max did a collab with another rhythm game that I talked about a while back, which is very similar to DJ Max, and that's Easy 2 On.
Yes.
So DJ Max added a few of their tracks to their library, which I'm going to assume is going to be in vice versa soon, where Easy 2 On will probably add some DJ Max tracks to them. Noticing a lot with like those rhythm games or anything, when they do collabs with each other, like a lot of them do that. Like DJ Max did a collab with Muse Dash a while back, and then vice versa, Muse Dash let DJ Max add some tracks to their thing. So like, it's funny like how there's so much different crossover with a lot of those like different rhythm games, because it's like, oh yeah, I heard this song in this game, or oh yeah, this song in this game, and things like that. So but both of them,
a lot of cross promotion in that genre.
It really is, which I mean, I think it's kind of cool, but at the same time, it's like, oh man, I bought both of these, so now like I'm gonna have, you know, a lot of crossover with it, where I almost hope it doesn't end up being kind of like the same thing. The good news is it's just a very small sample of the tracks that get added to each one, like you know, 15 to 20 songs and stuff like that. So but still, it's kind of interesting. It's just like, oh yeah, I'm playing DJ Max, but this Easy 2 On song's in here, so I could play that track in this. And then it's the same for like Muse Dash, where Muse Dash has like the DJ Max, but then they also got a lot of, you know, different Toho collab tracks, which is, you know, really cool and things like that. So so really that's all I kind of been doing with that. I also did dive back into playing Project Diva again, because the Eden project added more songs. So now there's like 152 songs added from them.
Great. Now the total is like 400 or 500 songs.
Like 380.
380. Okay.
380. So
All
it's
right.
like. So it's, yeah, but it's, to your point though, it's still growing, especially with like when you add on like other packs, like the F2 pack and everything, and playing through that, where you replace some songs with like the F2 versions of them and stuff like that. But it was kind of cool because I was actually playing a little bit of it before the podcast tonight and everything, and one of the guy that is like, or the person that's like the head like modder of the Eden project, actually stopped by the stream. So that was really, so it was kind of cool. Like the name didn't register until like I was playing through one of the songs, which was like Vampire, I think it was, from there and everything. And like the person typed in the chat, this chart's a little more difficult than it should be. I'm gonna make a note of that. And I'm like, wait a minute, are you a modder of this or anything? And then they were like, I guess my title is I'm the head modder. So I was like, and then like I saw their screen name. It was Palm Tree Freak was their handle on Twitch, and sure enough, I started scrolling through some of the songs and I see that name on the charts that was the mods and stuff like that, and I was just like, oh, all right, cool.
That's really cool.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
So that was pretty dope for that to happen. Like, and it was like my first like second stream. I returned back to streaming on Twitch and everything. So I got, and it's just like, you know, here it is, second time streaming on Twitch, and I get someone from that community stopping by and like, oh, hey, you're playing this, neat. It was also kind of reminiscent to, remember when I was doing the RCB Learns a while back, and was one of those was them fighting turds, and I had one of the Q&A testers from that game actually stop in the chat and start talking about things, stuff like that. It was like, it's kind of cool, like when certain things like that happen and stuff like that. So
for sure.
But it was kind of a little bit of a hoop in trying to get Project Diva to work again, because it did an update, and I guess it made the Project Eden mods not work, so the game wouldn't launch. So I had to.
It was an official update. Okay, yeah, that sometimes kills mods. Yeah.
So so I had to go back and like try to re-download the new update that would allow me to still play the mods, but it was a little bit of a struggle, because like when I tried to download it from like the Google Drive, because it's way too big of a mod download, it's like 29 gigs, right? So it's not like something you can just download through the Game Banana and things like that and everything. So I'm trying to download it through its Google Drive, and like it would get halfway through, and then it would just like say network error, and then it's like, oh, forbidden. So it kept like pausing itself. So I had to go through another route, which was downloading through Archive, and it was like a 6-hour download because it wasn't like, because it's like Archive is not the best web service to download anything from, because it doesn't. Yeah. It's
they have like the cap on the download speeds and stuff.
So that was a struggle. So I was like, well, I'm going to let this go overnight. I'm just going to go straight. So, but like they added, like, it's like with the Project Eden, the version 4 that they did with it, they've added the new tracks. They also added a bunch of different vocal different tracks too. So like there's a couple of those tracks that there's an English version of some of them and stuff like that, and I would listen to that and I'm like, this sounds weird. So like one song, and I think it was Vampire actually, had like 7 different vocal versions of that one alone in there, and I'm like, wow, that's a lot.
Lord.
Yeah,
they basically took every fucking version of that song.
Basically, yeah. And even like there's one track from Ado, I think her name is, that there's a Miku version of it, and then there isn't the actual version with Ado singing the actual track. So so like I said, they really went ham on like this version of the Project Eden with a bunch of different tracks and a bunch of different like vocal versions of each track and stuff too. So but yeah, that was kind of a cool, like I said, that was kind of cool with the head modder stopping by the channel to check it out, and like is like, of all the channels that come through, you come to mine. Interesting. So that was kind of neat, going through that. Like I said, it's been kind of just chill for me as far as just playing just rhythm games, kind of chilled, stuff like that. Still kind of grinding through Scarlet Nexus and playing through it a little bit, but really haven't made much headway as far as like story to kind of talk about what's going on with that and everything. And then just hype to see Cammy and her redesign, which is top notch. Which we already saw the redesign, but seeing it in motion and seeing how it looks in game, it was like phenomenal. That's why they delayed the game to June. They spent that extra time for Cammy. It's exactly what they did.
Cammy.
Yep. And shout outs to making the Super be the animated movie.
That was really cool.
That was like when I saw, like, because I was watching that trailer at work. Actually, I was getting ready for the live stream at work that we were doing, and I saw the tweet come out, and it had the trailer, and I'm like, oh, okay, I'm gonna check it out. And then, when I saw that being put into the game as one of Cammy's supers, I was just like, I completely geeked out. I was way too hyped for my own good.
It's super cool that they're just like embracing like all of the Street Fighter history, right? And like finding some way to add all these little details and callbacks to just like older things. It was really fucking cool. And along with that trailer, this is the first time where I saw Zangief, and I was like, this is a really cool version of Zangief.
That is the best version, right? And like I am not a Geef fan. I hate grapplers. I hate fighting that bastard in the game. But this is by far the coolest version of Geef in this game. Honestly, like for a lot of characters, it's like the coolest version of all of these characters. Yeah, exactly. Like Ken's redesign is freaking amazing. I love what they did with him. Chun's redesign, where she's like now the Sifu master and everything, so like that, is fantastic. Jury being more senile and everything is great too. Like her being a nutcase.
She's a Twitch streamer.
Oh, very much so, and everything.
I find that Jury is like, this is her most normal version she's ever been. Like she's not evil, but she's just normal and she's still weird.
Yeah. But like everything they did with the game and stuff like that and everything, and like it was funny as well, like watching, because I was watching some of the reactions and everything too, and like I never really thought about it, and like Maximilian actually brought up a good point with it too, where the way they did the characters, like even the beefy characters, right? Like there's like some, I don't know how they did it, but it's like they've really embraced this direction of like trying to add some form of realism while still keeping the zaniness of Street Fighter in a sense or anything. Where like you like Geef got jiggle physics, like he got body fat physics and everything, and it's just like this is like they did that so well, like in showing like the beefier characters. While yes, they're buff and muscular and all that stuff and everything, there's still like some form of body fat that like you can still like see the difference between them when it's just like in natural state or then being completely flexed up. You know what I mean? It's really cool to see. Yeah. So, but I also I know I'm fanboying over Cammy. Don't blame me. Cammy's been my main forever. So like I've always played that character in every single iteration of fighting game that she's been in and everything. But like they also like made her seem like she seems like she's a lot faster somehow, some way. And they also made like where her attacks have just there's like a brutality to like her attacks and everything now and everything too. Like there's some impact with like the stuff that she's doing. Like even her super that she did, like the level 3 and everything.
Yes.
And hearing
she's
like
next.
Yeah, I was just like, Jesus, like man, no, you figured like she'd be a little relaxed with Bison no longer exists and everything. Oh no, she's more calculated and like more focused than ever. Like she's trying to eliminate the entire threat. Like it's just kind of crazy, like how they like just embraced that with her and everything. And then of course Pose.
Of course, the cat stretch.
Yes, that's exactly what it was. The new Jacko pose, basically. Yeah. But
I have a picture of Jacko doing Cammy's pose. Actually.
I saw that. I saw that on Twitter. There was.
I was like, yes, it's full circle. Let's go.
So now we're just missing Cammy doing the Jacko pose.
Yeah.
But that's kind of everything that I've kind of dove into and stuff like that for the week and everything. Nothing big, nothing special, but like just revisiting the rhythm games because I do spend a lot of time with those because those are just easy to pick up and just start playing immediately, and I don't feel like I have to carve out like 5 or 6 hours to make it progress into a game. So
yeah,
just been kind of playing those and everything.
Sounds good. I like that. Katz.
Hello.
What have you been up to?
I have been just playing gacha games actually.
Oh, I feel you.
Yeah, but I did manage to get my hands on Wanted Dead and Wild Hearts. And I'm gonna keep Wanted Dead short because I kind of refunded it. It's not
really
great.
Is it because of the technical issues around it?
No, it's even by itself.
Really?
I think it's a great game if it existed in the PS3 era. But in the PS5 era now, it's really outdated to say the least. Like the pacing is weird. I like the idea of it. Like it's a hybrid cover shooter hack and slasher. It kind of works, but it doesn't know what it wants to be. Like when you actually play it, like if the melee combat, it feels clunky, and it's trying to be Ninja Gaiden, but not really, despite being made by the team who made Ninja Gaiden. Cover shooter part is like it's weird transitioning from like let's say Devil May Cry and then suddenly you're playing Gears of War. It's just a weird transition to me. Like it just doesn't feel right. And like you said that there are bugs like I can shoot while ducking under cover through the cover I'm ducking under, so it's kind of weird.
Oh, that's extreme jank. Yeah.
Yeah, it's jank. And I don't know, the story is I think it's weird too. It's like you're like this war criminal and you're given a second chance to do something. I didn't make it that far, so I didn't exactly find out what you're supposed to do. I just know I'm just here to kill. I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
I don't want to be jank.
The story is definitely something that like I figured would not be like anything groundbreaking. But it's interesting hearing that it's not vibing with you mechanically, because I feel like the one thing I've heard from some other people is like this game is fun, but the bugs are what's killing it. So that's interesting.
Maybe because I came off playing Hi-Fi Rush, so my standards are like.
Well, everything feels bad after you come off Hi-Fi Rush.
And
You're
that's
only
it.
talking about like the best action game to ever release. Like,
Yeah, that's the problem. So Wanted Dead to me just feels extremely clunky, really slow.
yeah,
The cover shooter part is actually decent, but like I say, transitioning into and out of it is like, it feels like it doesn't know what it wants to be. That like I say, it's just weird. Like you really have to play to understand. Also,
Sure.
in between missions, there's like mini games. It's like, okay, we're gonna storm this some rich guy's office or something. Then we just kill him, and then now it's like a ramen mini game. And then suddenly we're playing Yakuza. All right.
weird.
Yeah, it's like just I don't know. And then there's like karaoke sessions as well, which is also a mini rhythm game and stuff like that. And then there's shoehorn in shower scenes of the female protagonist. Like it doesn't need it, but it's there. Yeah, it's just weird. Like
Yeah,
I don't know what the guy back in what was that team's name you made Ninja Gaiden? The original team. It was made up by the original team who left, and they made this new team to make Wanted Dead. Actually,
yeah.
yeah. I don't know. I think there's too much clashing design opinions in this game. That's why I end up refunding it. I can't stand it. Not that fun. It's really dated. Like I say, if it's in the PS3 era, this game will be probably
What's the
amazing.
name of this game?
Wanted Dead.
Wanted Dead.
Oh, okay, yeah. Now it's all clicking together. Yeah, I've heard some things about this game. It is a mess, to say the least. There are some serious jank to it. The voice acting is laughable.
I would describe the voice acting as Japanese writing English.
Yeah.
You know,
I love that.
right?
It's
I know exactly what you mean by this.
yeah.
Oh, and there's also like a black dude that's like deaf, or I think he's deaf or mute or something. So he signs curse words, and the subtitle shows that that's the only cool thing I found about that game actually.
Oh my god.
Yeah, he signs. Then the subtitles like there's like a clearly there's a fuck there. I'm like, I'm mature, guys. Yeah. And that's like the only thing I found amusing. And the writing is basically that it's very a Japanese trying very their hardest to be American type of humor.
And it it
like,
comes across weird.
Yes, I'm just like, okay, I can clearly tell you're not American.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they just wanted them. I didn't make it far. I played enough that I can refund it, and then I end up getting Wild Hearts. No, Wild Hearts.
Wow, that looks really fun.
There's so much to love about this game, except that it's plagued by optimization issues right now.
Yes.
The patch already came and it didn't fix a lot, but it did fix my slowdowns on my 5-year-old PC. So at least I can play it properly now.
Okay, we'll take that. Small patches, small gains.
Yeah, hopefully they further optimize it, because slowdowns still happen, but only during like four-man heavy fights that's happening, and when like the whole forest is crashing down on you, it's like, okay, sure, I'll take it. I'll take that. That's my PC can't render like 5 million trees being break down at the same time. I'll take it. But yeah, if you're a fan of Monster Hunter and you're writing Wild Hearts off, I think you shouldn't, because this game has a lot of good things that World and Rise couldn't do, I would say, because they have a legacy to uphold. Wild Hearts has nothing because it's new, so they can try like new stuff, and I'm really enjoying the new stuff they brought into Wild Hearts. Stuff like weapons being able to a downgrade instead of like making a completely new one because you screwed up the upgrade path somewhere. You can just downgrade it and save all your materials, so that saves all the grind. That's damn good quality of life change in my opinion.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah, and the game is also like no nonsense. It isn't like Monster Hunter where okay guys we're gonna eat, we're gonna prepare the bombs and equipment and stuff, and then we're gonna plan out the strategy. None of that was hard. Even the game was like, okay, you load the game for the first time, set your brightness. Do you want subtitles? Streamer mode? Yes? No? Alright, okay, let's go. There's no title screen, you're in the game already.
Oh wow. They just start you off.
They just threw you in there.
Yeah, it's like immediately press W to move forward. I'm like, game, I haven't plugged in my controller yet, please have mercy. Okay, then after doing some graphic fiddling, the game just goes. It's like immediately teaches you everything, like how to move, how to fight. Then you meet like some weird old guy that gives you the game's entire gimmick, which is building. You can build stuff in. They call it the Karakuri system, which you also need to get materials from like chopping trees, breaking rocks, to just doing like your usual gathering in the Monster Hunter game, but they all becomes a thing called thread, which allows you to build stuffs like walls for you to climb on and stuff like that. Oh, one thing about Wild Hearts that did very differently from Monster Hunter is that the world is open. It isn't instant like it's permission and then you go in and you hunt and you get. No, the missions are persistent. It's almost like Breath of the Wild persistent.
I didn't know that actually.
Yeah, you do have a town. You can go in and out of it. But going to the town surprisingly is quite late into the game. It's not early because you're stuck rescuing people at the start of the game. But if it's like a very extended tutorial, it slowly brings in mechanics. They don't dump everything on your lap like immediately.
Okay. So the onboarding is pretty good then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Onboarding is great. But I find that the story, they want you to take it seriously, but it's like not that interesting. It's like, oh my god, you're a hunter, you gotta save a village, man. It's like, right?
Like monsters invading village, please save. Got it.
Yeah. And that's like the geekiest of it right now. And the way they introduce that part of the story to you is like, okay, you met this young girl who happens to be a blacksmith. And then they're like, okay, now build a camp. I was like, wait, what? Build a camp. You can take this cave you found, put a campsite in there, and now this is your recall point. You can teleport back here anytime you want. And I think that's amazing. You can build teleport points anywhere you want. And I literally were in the middle of the field, like in the edge of a waterfall. I don't know why you want to do that, but you just build anywhere, and it becomes a point where you can just fast travel to anytime you want.
I love that. Is there no limit to how many you can make?
Right now, I think there is, but it's not a hard cap. You just need materials. And there's a thing called like dragon trees, where if you awaken them, then you like unlock a spot on the map. Like it just opens up like a whole area of the map that you haven't explored yet. Then you can get stuff there.
Okay.
Yeah, and the best part about the buildings in this game is that when you put down like a contraption, like maybe like a spring trap for you to jump on, a wall for you to climb on, it persists. Like if you revisit the area, it's still there. Those things don't break. In fact, if they does break by natural causes, like maybe a monster ran through here and accidentally broke down your tower, right? It will just regenerate itself. It's so cool. It's only until you say, okay, I don't need a tower here anymore, and you break it down, and then it's permanent.
If you break it down yourself, do you get materials back?
Yep. Full refunds.
I love that. Okay. Okay, I'm in.
Nothing like a full refund.
I'm saying.
Yeah, this game is it just wants you to plan out everything in terms of where you want to build stuff. They really double down on the Karakuri mechanic, and I love it. It's what's making me stick to this game right now. And I haven't get to the weapons yet, which I will get into in a little later, because I'm not done. The Karakuri system, like I said, you can build anything. Like you can stuff we have like shortcut enablers also, like a rope. You can just shoot like a rope from like one edge to another edge, and then now you have a shortcut. You don't have to climb the mountain every time anymore. You can just glide through it.
Yeah, I was hearing about like creating these zip lines everywhere. I was like, I'm getting Death Stranding vibes out of this. I'm just gonna make zip lines all over the place.
Yeah, and you can do that. And again, the permanent until you say it's like it's fine. I gotta move to something else. It's really cool, man. Like the game is just like it does what I want from Monhan. I didn't know I wanted from Monhan in here. So yeah.
All right, adding to my cart.
I would say right now just be careful with the game right now. It's really janky. I have crashes happen post patch, and I'm like, it's annoying.
Yeah, that was honestly what I was waiting on, actually, because I did hear the launch, especially on PC, was messy. So I was hoping that last patch that they did fixed a lot of that stuff. Hearing that it's kind of middling, like it's still clearly they fixed some things, but not enough. I might wait for another pass on it, or maybe I'll just pick it up on console. I don't know if that runs better or not.
No, it doesn't. The patch is only for
Really?
PC. Because right now it's really bottlenecking your CPU for some reason. It's like it doesn't know there's a graphic card in your PC right now.
Oh, it's doing that.
Yeah. It's the same problem as Monster Hunter World and Rise on PC actually.
I don't have that issue. I don't have any issues with either of those games, funny enough.
Maybe you're lucky one then.
Yeah. Though I do know, especially with World, people had some issues with it. I thought Rise was bad.
Okay, I think the World was bad.
Yeah.
Because I was pretty diehard on World, and I was like, the early days were pretty bad.
Yeah.
Okay, and I get to the weapons now, and there's like eight types. Yeah, eight types, kind of, because every weapon in this game, well, not every weapon, but some weapons have different modes. So like, okay, you start with the standard katana. It's like basic katana until the game tells you, okay, now hunt this big kemono. They call it kemonos in this game, like basically Japanese for beast.
Yes.
Okay, so the first hunt they ask you to do, they really show off what the combat system could do. It's like, okay, now you have a sword, you have a katana, you can just do slashes, you press like triangle 3 times to get a basic combo, you press triangle for like a heavy combo. It's like, it's cool. But after you build like this weird bar, you will notice like this bar shining on your health bar. Like, what's that? Then after you feel like, okay, now press like right trigger to unleash your weapon's truth. Man, what the hell? I did not expect the katana to turn me into Ivy from Soul Calibur.
Oh,
and now I have a sword whip. Bro, it's so cool.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, now you have a whip and you're just like whipping everything around and you're doing massive damage and it's satisfying. The hits in this game feel satisfying, actually. And you have a dedicated jump button unlike Monster Hunter. So aerial combat is encouraged. I think this is closer to what's that game called? Tokiden, if you heard of it.
Tokiden, yes. I played a lot of Tokiden.
The combat feels very similar to Tokiden, except you have Fortnite built into it, and it's fun. Like depending on what you build, like let's say you build just a simple wall, you will do a jumping wall attack. If you do a spring trap, you do a spring jumping attack. It's different for each.
Oh, so even though they both put you like in an airborne state, they're different attacks.
Yeah, they're unique. Depending on how you propel yourself off the air.
Yeah.
Change how it works. And now for weapon tech tree, like I say, the weapon, there's a weapon tree straight up in the game. You don't have to look up wikis and stuff to see where can I build this one sword that looks cool in the trailer. Nah. You can just the trees in the game. You can just look for it and then just build through there.
Okay. It doesn't hide anything from you.
Yeah, the only negative I will even give this game is actually the weapon tree, actually, because you don't unlock everything at once. You have to play through the story to slowly get everything. It's like the game hasn't researched how to make a cannon yet, so you have to do a quest to help this one blacksmith to research how to make a cannon, and then you get the cannon for example. So that's my only gripe is like I just want to shoot bombs. Let me, please.
Yeah.
You do get like 5 choices at the start. You get like the other 4 later on.
Is there a hammer?
Yes, it's called a maul.
A ball. Okay.
A maul. Yeah, you get it at the start too. So it's like a starting weapon. So good. You also get the Nodachi, which is bigger katana. And guess what? Its unleashed form is even bigger katana.
So, question: when you go into like that other mode, because you said a bar fills up, do you get to stay in that mode, or is it until like the bar like depletes itself?
Kind of like an install. It's kind of like an install.
Install. Okay.
Yeah, but not all weapon has it. So there's also the Bladed Wagasa. That's like my main weapon right now. But I might change it once I get the cannon. It's basically the Bladed Umbrella.
Okay.
It's both the weakest and the strongest weapon in the game. Weakest being because it has power levels. You have to power it up through parries. And the parry system is for it right now is really wonky for me because 20 FPS gaming is not fun.
Oh boy. True.
But if I ever get like a better graphics card, I'll definitely main the Umbrella because it's you are just flying everywhere. You're Mary Poppins but deadly.
It's like deadly Mary Poppins.
Mary Poppins out here parrying everything, man.
Yeah, you have a parry that sends you airborne. You have like a lot of this like gliding on the umbrella moves. That then you just jump down, like you spin the umbrella and you do like a lot of like multiple small instances of damage. It's really fun, but except the only problem is you have to power it up through attacks and parries, and the only way to get it up to level 3 is by parrying a lot. So this weapon is really made for knowledge checks.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a legging weapon.
Skill barrier.
Yeah. I love it though. It's so unique. It's like Umbrella.
Yeah, it sounds super satisfying too. Like once you get it down, like that sounds really, really satisfying to use.
Yep. You also get the bow, really basic. It does have a gimmick, but it's like it's still pretty basic for a bow weapon. You get 2 types of arrows. You get the sticky arrows that doesn't really do anything by itself, and you get normal arrows, which is like a shotgun. And then you get to plant your giant ass bow on the floor and use it like standing still like a turret. And now you're bringing up 4 arrows, and they explode. Like you're just chucking ballista bombs at the monsters. It's so satisfying. And those small arrows that seemingly do nothing now, they stack. You pin like 10 of them, and then you bring like one big firework arrow on them, right? And then it just like you just see
set off a chain reaction.
Yeah, it's so cool. How did they make the bow so cool? It's usually just a boring weapon. It's just that I wasn't expecting the bow to be like huge. You guys play Dark Souls, right? You know the Great Dragon Bow?
Yes.
Yeah, it's the size of that.
Oh
but
god.
That's a weapon type.
That's huge.
Yeah, and then of course I mentioned the cannon. Apparently the cannon is the strongest weapon in the game right now because the burst, the unleashed form of the cannon is just a giant laser.
What?
Yeah, it's just a
gun.
Huh? Yeah, it's a real gun. Basically a giant real gun.
Oh my god.
I don't get it. It's both a mortar and a real gun.
Jesus Christ.
And 2 more weapons that I haven't exactly gotten to yet is the claw blade and the staff. I don't know what they do yet, but they sound cool. And the weapon system is just there, but every hit feels really satisfying. And I think if you like action games, you will feel like it's cool. It's fun.
It's very cool also that game supports crossplay.
There's crossplay? No, that explains that.
There's all crossplay around it, which I feel like for those games, for hunt style games, I think that's really cool, right? Because it's very multiplayer focused, and it sucks when community is divided, right?
True, I agree. There's also like these little gates you will randomly see in like the open world, and then they're basically calls for help. It's kind of like soapstones in Dark Souls. Yeah, I just randomly see like this weird shrine gate thing, and then you go to it. It's like need help dying, And you're like, do you want to join this hunt? And then yeah, you can just help them in it. It's you can just hot drop into somebody else's hunt, and it's really nonsense. The moment you drop in, you're in the middle of the fight, and you kill, and you all manage to take down the Kemono, right? It's like you bow and you bounce.
Nice.
There's no like hey, good job guys. No, I'm getting the house away from my wall.
You complete the job and then you're gone. That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
I love that. In and out.
Yeah. And as for the monsters, right now, I only fought like 2, which is like a giant angry rat with flowers on it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not very interesting. It's like a generic tutorial monster. Oh, by the way, this rat thing tried to crawl into the cave camp you made in the tutorial. This implies that the camps you make are not safe. They may be but they're not safe.
Yeah, they might get destroyed. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And the camps have so much to do also. You can put like drying racks to combine. I don't know how the drying and combining food works in real life, but yeah, you can like combine multiple things to make special foods. You can just stack food on food together to make it easy to eat.
Okay.
You can pickle stuff. You can make small cages where you can catch those endemic life to be pets. Like they can just be like a steady source of a certain material you need, so you don't have to go out hunting for them.
Nice. Okay.
And
right.
as for endemic life in this game, you don't just kill them like Monster Hunter. You can pet everything, kind of.
You said kind of.
Yeah. You can just pet them and be friends, and you load them and then you put them in a cage. Like, haha.
Pet at your own risk.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You can pet them, but doesn't mean they reciprocate that feeling. You know, I have tried petting acid spilling lizards in the waterfall area before, and they weren't friendly.
Jesus Christ! Like, I just want to pet you.
Yeah, you're cute. But yeah, Wild Hearts right now, I think if it wasn't plagued with optimization issues, I would highly recommend it if you are a fan of the hunting genre. It's really good. It's really, really very good. The mechanics are different enough from one hand where it feels familiar yet different.
Yeah.
I recommend it. Not a 10 out of 10 game though. It's still great.
But still fun. It's cool that they carve their own like sort of unique spin on this genre.
Oh yeah, I also have to mention dialogue. It has the same problems I wanted it. It's mixed English and Japanese. Like they speak English mostly, but sometimes the sentences will just out of nowhere have like a few Japanese words sprinkled on. So don't do that.
Oh jeez.
Either full English or turn on the Japanese dub, which they do have.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Also, I think I showed this before. There are dreadlocks in the game.
Yeah, I am. That team has been very good about including black hairstyles in a lot of their games, and in like a really good way. So I was very excited to hear that that they're doing that. And then in the other game, the Team Ninja game that came out, or the demo that's out, Wulong Fallen Dynasty has like really good options as well too.
Oh shit, I didn't buy that too.
Yeah. So, hell yeah! Shout out to the studio. They do a good job for us colored people.
Nice. Also, just to hype you up a little bit more, the Hammer's Unleashed form is not really a new form. It's more like a just frame stacking mechanic where every time you tap right trigger on the certain points of your combo, you lengthen the handle, and now you have a longer hammer, and eventually you will do the spin attack. And now if you get it to like level 3, you are basically your hammer is now like as long as a spear, and you're just spinning that thing around.
Oh hell yeah!
Spin to win.
Yeah, it's cool. The unleashed forms in this game is cool. It's just unfortunate the umbrella is like my unleashed form is parry. Now get good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Wild Hearts, man. Surprisingly fun. Because I was also writing it off as like this weird Monster Hunter clone that EA tried to do it. And EA isn't exactly a company of ethical practices.
Yeah, it's a game that a lot of people were ready to write off. But I think the saving grace sort of was that like it's EA published, but it's developed by Koei Tecmo, and it's like, okay, they do have experience in this with Tokiden in Tokiden 2, which was criminally like underplayed. Like Tokiden 2 was really fucking cool.
It's stuck on the Vita, right?
No, they have a PC version now. It finally left the Vita island, but it was a little too late, you know.
The game I'm thinking of is Soul Sacrifice, actually. My bad.
Oh, Soul Sacrifice.
Now that is one game I want out of the Vita, please.
Yes, yeah. I would love to see that come back as well. There's a few of those games on the Vita that would be really cool. Freedom Wars would be great if that came back.
Muramasa.
Muramasa, yeah.
Come on, Vanilla, we'll win that lawsuit. My friend RCB here needs to play that wonderful game.
I'm saying, please.
One day, yeah, let it just unlock everything and just put everything on PC.
I'm saying, please.
Give me a reason to play 13 Sentinels a 5th time.
Oh my god. Cool
Hey,
beans.
13 Sentinels, my game of the year running now for 4 straight years.
For 4 straight years, soon to be 5. We're
Yep.
gonna get that PC release.
Yep.
Or a PS5 remaster.
Yeah, PS5 might actually be able to handle that one part of the game, which we all know what we're talking about.
What if it doesn't, though?
Oh my gosh, wouldn't that be something? So powerful, PS5 can't even handle it.
I'm saying. Let's keep this shindig going. Drewstifer. Hello. What have you been doing?
Well, I honestly don't have too much to talk about today. Been putting some more time into Fire Emblem Engage.
Yeah.
My feelings are pretty much the same on that, where the gameplay is really, really good. Map design's really solid, and I'll say the story, or at least the characters, have taken a bit more of a turn to where I'm like, okay, I'm kind of on board with this.
Yeah.
It's very by the numbers, which I mean I'd argue is pretty by the numbers for Fire Emblem. Fire Emblem for me has always been about the gameplay and supports, and I guess Engage is really no different.
Yeah.
Again, my complaints still exist with that game, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. The tactical gameplay that I'm getting out of it is solid enough for me to continue playing that game. So I'm still making my way through that. In terms of other games I've been playing, I checked out this platformer on Steam that came across my timeline just on a whim called Kraino Origins, spelled Kraino. And I saw one look at the trailer and I was like, well, this might be the most Drew game I've ever seen in my life. So I decided to go ahead and check it out. And what it is it's a Mega Man / Castlevania style platformer.
Oh, yeah, that has you written all over it for sure.
Yeah, where you play as a scythe-wielding skeleton going through stages and just, doing platformer things. And I get the feeling, because when I was first looking up this game, there was Kraino Origins and there was Kraino Reanimated. And I think what Kraino Origins is it's like a pseudo game that was created to hold over backers and people who are interested in Kraino Reanimated. Kind of like how they did with Bloodstained and...
Yes.
Hey, Drew, real quick, how do you spell that again? How do you spell it again? I'm trying to look it up.
Oh, Kraino. And there's 2 games on there. There's Kraino Origins and Kraino Reanimated. Kraino Origins came out, I think, July of last year. And Kraino Reanimated is set to debut either April, May, or June of this year. And it was only $10. I had $5 sitting in my Steam wallet. So I decided, check it out, have something to sort of play and cleanse the palate after a 3-hour-long Fire Emblem. So I started playing it. In terms of length, I'm not sure how long the game is. I imagine it's not too terribly long, but I'm about 4 stages in, and I'd probably say there's about 8 stages in the game, but I'm probably about halfway through.
That makes sense.
This game is definitely like pulling a lot from like Castlevania and Mega Man. Control wise, it feels very much like Mega Man. So you have it's basically like a 3-button game. You have your basic jump, you have your attack, which is a scythe swing, and then you have sub weapons, which you unlock as you go throughout the stages. What's really cool about the scythe swing is if you hit up in the attack button, your little skull guy, I guess his name is Kraino, he does a little spin. And I didn't realize this, but if you do that spin when a projectile is being shot at you, if you just frame it, it reflects it back, which is really cool.
That's
I didn't even realize that the first time around, because like the first enemy you encounter with a projectile are like these skeletons throwing bones in an arc, very Castlevania like skeleton like. And like I was just like, well, what does the spin thing do? And like it was reflecting back, and I'm like, dang, that seems pretty good. And then I was like, why can't I get these other projectiles to reflect? And then that's when I found out that it was just the just frame, and the bone ones were just really easy to do the first time around. So I thought like that was really cool. And I'm going through the stages, and I'm unlocking, and the sub weapons are like verbatim Castlevania. The first 3 sub weapons that I unlocked was a fireball that pretty much operates like the dagger, an axe which basically does what the axe does, and a bomb which functions as holy water. 100% just Castlevania sub weapon. Like no shame, unabashedly, this is Castlevania sub weapons. However, there is a limit to them. There is like a sort of magic meter, and each sub-weapon takes a certain amount of the magic meter. The holy water, while being the most powerful, also takes like the most. And they don't do like a ton of damage, so like they're kind of balanced like that. They're definitely designed in the same vein as Castlevania sub-weapons to take care of enemies that are sort of annoying. And they don't necessarily feel like necessary. They're cool though, especially since I found out. So there are these little challenge levels after each level. So there's actually probably like 16 levels, because like you beat a level, and then there's like, so let me rewind. When you start up the game, you're introduced to a Super Mario Brothers 3 world map. So much so in that Kraino's sprite on the world map looks exactly like Mario, like same pose and everything. And I'm like, all right, that's 100% a Super Mario Brothers 3 reference. And so after every level, there's like this little skull level. And basically what it is the skull level is like a little challenge level based on the level that you just beat. But like the difficulty's ramped up a bit. And there's no checkpoints, unlike the regular levels. So you have to go from beginning to end. And at the end of the level, there are these skulls. And I was like, well, what are these skulls for? And then about halfway through the world map, you find the shopkeeper, which is how you keep getting all these sub weapons. The shopkeeper has like his own house, and at his house you can trade the skulls to power up your sub weapons. So for example, you power up the fireball, it makes the fireball bigger. You power up the axe, it turns it into a frost axe, and now enemies the axe touches freezes. The bomb now shoots out like a bunch of little fireballs instead of just one. So things like that, like some little avatar strength is cool. If this is what I think it is and just like a little bonus game, it's pretty neat. I feel like it might lack a little bit of identity in that it's very, very Mega Man Castlevania-y, but I feel like that's fine. I think next week my plan is to like report on how I feel about this game after I beat it. Mm-hmm. And there's also a demo available for Kraino Reanimated. So I think that's what I want to talk about next week, is sort of my feelings on how I think this, this Origins game was and how I feel like Reanimated will be. But so far, I'd say like the game's pretty fun. There's also one more mechanic I forgot to talk about, which is something that I think is kind of cool, but is not really utilized all that well. And I would like to see it utilized more. In the air, there's also a down swipe that you can do with the scythe, and you get a bounce.
Oh, okay.
So like I could see like, yeah, I could see like some really cool like level design or like obstacle courses created with that mechanic in mind. And like that's why I want to reserve Final Judgment, because maybe we'll get there and I'll be like, oh man, that was really cool. But so far I'm enjoying it. I definitely want to see how the rest of the game plays out. The soundtrack is pretty middling. I'm not a big fan of it. That's probably where it doesn't borrow from Mega Man or Castlevania, where like the soundtrack's there and like they're definitely like 30-second riff tracks just on repeat, and like the riff tracks aren't even that good. So that's disappointing. Like they're not bad, but I definitely wouldn't turn them on in the car.
For sure.
So yeah, that's Kraino Origins. I recommend it if you got $10 to blow. So far, it's a fun platform. I'll have more opinions on it next week when I'm finished with it.
Okay, I look forward to hearing your final thoughts on it. Because when you brought it up originally, I was like, okay, this does look pretty neat. It makes sense that it would be like a holdover game for a Kickstarter. Like it definitely has to it.
I'm just assuming that it is. Like I wanted to do some more research after I beat the game to be like, is that what this is? Because then that would make sense of why it feels so. I don't want to use the word shallow, but you know what I mean.
No,
right?
I know exactly what you mean. Yeah. Okay. What else you got for me?
Oh, that's it.
That's it.
That's it. I'm on a break from BB Tag for like a week. My Octopath is in the wind.
In the wind.
Oh, UPS doesn't know where it is.
Oh God.
That's not good.
Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah. Metroid Prime is sitting on my counter. I may start that soon. If only. I just want to see how gorgeous that game looks. I really, really do.
It's very pretty. Very, very pretty.
I played a little bit more Theater Rhythm. Found out that the tracks I want aren't coming out until July.
Nice. Hold that.
Yep.
Get comfortable with Final Fantasy 13 music.
Yeah. Yeah, that's about it.
Okay. All right. I love it. Love it. On my end of things, I've dabbled in a couple things. Well, I'll start. I finished a video game. I know that is rare these days. But I did finish Fire Emblem Engage. And I echo pretty much the same thing I've been saying the entire time. Like, basically, Drew summed it up as well, where it's like, narratively, like everything outside of the tactical gameplay and the supports is like mid, right? But it's also the Fire Emblem that I think has like the best gameplay and the most fun maps, in like the actual playing that video game is amazing. So I don't know, it exists in a weird spot for me. Like parts of me wants to say, yeah, this is actually like my favorite one of these. But there's also enough there to where I'm like, I don't know. So I don't know where I would place it in the whole like Fire Emblem tier list in my brain. But I think at the end of the day, I can definitely say I had a lot of fun playing it. Right. There's things I wish there was more of, I do, while I'm okay with like there not be, I know like Asher once mentioned like he wants the super children, right? Or some people want more like relationship stuff. I'm okay with that without that stuff, but I do wish they took the supports a little further than they do. It doesn't have to necessarily end in like romance, like platonic friendships is great too. But I wish there was like a little bit more. I wish there were more S ranks across the board, I feel like there was some missed opportunities for some character storylines there. But I do think this game has probably overall my favorite cast. There's a lot of really, really good characters here, so I just wish there was more of them. It took me like 75 hours to finish that game. And that's me kind of like not necessarily speed running through it, but I will tell you I did not do every single little thing in there. So I feel like most playthroughs will probably be in that like 60 to 70-ish hour range, if you're just kind of like casually plowing through it, you know. Yeah, cool game out of 10. Final map was disappointing. I know, Drew, you joked how like, yeah, that's kind of on par for a Fire Emblem. And it's like, yeah, but I think in a game that has like fantastic map design, it just makes it like stand out harder, you know?
Oh yeah, no, 100%. It makes it stand out in every other Fire Emblem too, because you're like, what? I don't know why that. I think it's like a running theme at Intelligent Systems.
Probably.
Like they do it on purpose.
Probably. I wouldn't,
because like that was the running joke for Fire Emblem 6 is like Fire Emblem 6 is like some of the hardest map design out there, and then the final boss is like a boss that doesn't move, and then that's it.
Yeah. You're like, what is this? Yeah, it clearly has to be like an internal joke at this point. But yeah, that's basically where I sit with that game. I definitely encourage people to play it. I encourage people to check it out. It is a good time, especially if you're into strategy RPGs. It is a very good one of those. It does make me want to play something else that's maybe like a little more serious. So like in my head, I'm like, I want to go play Tactics Ogre right now. Yeah. It made me really want to go play Tactics Ogre. So I think my next strategy RPG fix will be that. So I'm like halfway through Triangle Strategy. And I don't know. There's something about it that's not like gripping me hard. Like I do want to finish it, but like it is not hitting the way I want it to. Yeah, if I ever get the time to go back and finish that game, I'll talk about it. But like, it's definitely not hitting the vibes that I want it to, despite being also like a very competent and like good tactics game. It's just like narratively, it's not going far enough for me.
That's fair.
Yeah. So, what else have I been doing? I can't say too much about it, but I did start Chained Echoes. I started that last night and did like the opening tutorial segment basically. And that game seems very cool, right? I really like that battle system, right? I think it prides itself on like not having typical level ups, as it were. But it does have a really interesting system in that like it's a turn-based RPG, but at like the top left-hand corner, they have a meter, a gauge. I forget what they call it. I'm just gonna call it an overdrive gauge. Where it's like, it starts off in yellow. There is a green spot in there, and then I think there's a red spot at the very end of it. And every time you do an attack, like your position on this gauge goes forward. And what you're trying to do is you're trying to get it to stay in like the green part. Right, and if you're in the green, your attacks deal like more damage and you get buffs or whatever. But if you happen to go past that gauge into the red, like then it's negative effects, right? So it's this interesting like back and forth between like, okay, I'm doing my skills to raise this bar, but also you have some skills that will like act as a cooldown and will reduce it. And you'll see like if you like defend, it reduces it. And when you're in that like sweet spot, there are like special attacks that can trigger that will also reduce the gauge down. So you're thinking about, okay, do I want to use these attacks to reduce the gauge? And it's just a really fun back and forth, while also like obviously doing what you need to do to win the fight. So like healing appropriately or making sure you're dealing with like the ads in a boss fight and all that jazz. Really fascinating game so far. I'm only like 30 minutes to an hour into it, like that first opening segment, but I'm very curious to play more of it. instead of like a traditional level up system, you do have like SP that you get, like skill points. And when you go to a character's skill tree, you basically get the choice of like, do you want an active skill, like a passive skill, or just like pure stat boost? And sometimes if you pick like the active skills or the passive skills, they also are accompanied by like your traditional stat boost, like strength up, defense up, and all that jazz too. So it seems really neat. There's a lot of attacks that like play off of each other or combo into each other. Playing around with stats effects seems to be kind of important in this game as well, and I always appreciate that in RPGs. So I will try to play more of it. I don't know how long the game is, but I'm gonna slowly work on it in the background. Another game. I can't talk about one game because Lewis isn't here, but I started it because of him. I started playing the Made in Abyss game as a meme.
Oh no.
Because that game has some of the wildest death animations I've ever seen. But I'll talk about that next time he's on the show, because I need someone to go back and forth with on that one. It is, that game is I don't think that game is very good, but I do find it very interesting, and it does some interesting things in relation to like how that world is set up in the anime. I'll get into that another week. But one game that I did start that I've been meaning to for a very, very long time, I finally started Lost Judgment.
Oh, nice.
I finally started Lost Judgment. I'm not very far in Lost Judgment, but I did start it, and I'm within like that first hour-ish where you're learning to tail Kosuke, right?
Yep.
And breaking into the facility right after he runs into that building. So very, very early on, but I'm finally in the headspace to go through that game. I haven't quite decided yet, because if you remember, when I was going through Original Judgment, I had this whole thing where like I realized I don't care for the original combat system of those games, right? So I dropped the difficulty down to easy for the Original Judgment just to kind of get through it.
Sure.
For this game, I did start on normal. I don't know if I'm going to have that same sort of feeling. We'll see. We'll see what happens. If there might come a point where I'm just like, I'm tired of these fights. I just want to get through the story. But for now, I'm playing it on normal and having a good time with it for now.
So it matters at the end of the day.
That's it, right? Very interested to see where the story goes. They uncovered that body in the beginning of the game that I'm like, ooh, this seems kind of fucked up.
There's gonna be quite a bit of that.
Yeah. Seems like we got a crazy person on our hands. So Yagami, I need him to step up and figure out this mystery. Yeah. So look forward to more updates on that as I get through it. I'm going to be actively playing that one. It is Steam Deck verified, so that is a good game for me to play while I am in bed and kind of winding down. I'll try to get through that as soon as I can, because I also want to get to Like a Dragon Ishin as well. I feel like I'm perpetually behind on RGG Studio games. I feel like I'm always one game behind. So hopefully I'll finish up Lost Judgment, and then I'll hop on Ishin, because I hear that's also very good. Aside from that, I think that's about everything I've been doing. Slowly getting through Hi-Fi Rush. I do want to finish that game. I don't know when I'm going to finish it, but I will finish it, I promise.
It's a good game. I played 3 times already.
Oh my god. Please.
I'm going through with the master right now.
That's a lot.
Oh, man. I said it the first time. I fully believe it. It is the best action game ever created. I think it trumps every other action game.
I mean, that's saying a lot considering how many strong action games there are.
Yes. Absolutely. And I think this game learned from all of those and combined into like in a game that I feel like should not exist. I don't know how we received this gift from God, but we did.
God is like here. Okay.
I highly recommend everybody go play Hi-Fi Rush if you have not played it. But yeah, that's really about it. That's it for me. Seems like Lewis did not join us this week, so we will catch up with him next week. But for now, let us go into the sign-off ceremony. Ryan.
You find me on Twitter, RCB_draws. It's basically my art account where I've been posting a lot of my artwork and stuff like that. So hopefully you guys enjoy that. And like I said earlier, I did start streaming on Twitch again, which you can find RCB_TV on Twitch. Those are primarily the two platforms you can find me on. That's pretty much it.
Nice. Katz, how about you?
I'm on Twitter as well. Caitlin Katz. Caitlin with a K and 2 Z's at the end because someone took the one with 1 Z. I still want that account. I'm basically a retweet bot right now. So yeah, nothing's really going on much nowadays. Still chipping away at my newly formed mountain of games. And it's only going bigger because I do want to get Wulong. I want to get Atomic Heart.
Mm-hmm.
Octopath 2, there's one too. And in June, there's a Taylor Mary remake. I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Ryza 3 is next month.
Not Ryza 3 got delayed to next month. Yep.
Oh yeah, you can find me on Twitter.
Too many games. I forgot. Even though, like I mentioned it earlier, I actually did play the demo of Wulong Fallen Dynasty, but I'll talk about that next week. I do want to play a little bit more. But if you played Neo and you're familiar with like the Team Ninja games, it's kind of more of that. It's good. Drew, how about you?
Hello. Oh, I did forget. So this game that Kraino Origins have been playing, by the way, Rob, had the best joke in all time.
Oh, no.
Where you're going through this forest level, and you finally find the shopkeeper. Oh yeah, I know you should.
Yep.
You finally find the shopkeeper. And he's like, "Oh, finally, a customer. I haven't seen one for ages." Kraino tells him, "Well, you're at the top of a tree, full of spiders." And the shopkeeper's right. Exactly, spiders. They have 8 legs. Think of all that foot traffic.
Oh God. Oh my God.
I hate it. I hate it here.
It was very good.
Was it?
Very good.
Was it?
Very.
Okay. Sure.
Yep.
Yep.
You can find me on Twitter at JSB Totally Drew, where you can see me tweeting out my Fire Emblem mishaps and other video game opinions, although I'm mostly a retweet bot these days. That or BB Tag Progress, which is still ongoing, even though I'm on a break.
Alrighty. You can find me 6 feet under because that joke killed me. You can also find me on Twitter at Zenosuke, ZNOSUKE, where I talk about anime, video games, and retweet art as well. You can follow Jack Savage Base on Twitter at Jack Savage Base to know when new episodes of this podcast goes up, as well as JSB Anime. That is also on Twitter if you want to follow the anime podcast and anything that goes on over there. And then you can also find us on YouTube by searching Jack Savage Base. You can find all the podcast stuff going up on there, as well as the audios, all the audio locations, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all that jazz. We're everywhere. So, no excuse not to listen to us. And with that, thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate all of you. And we will talk to you next week. Bye.
Later.
Play Hi-Fi Rush.
Please.
Traffic.
Hate it.
I'm stopping it now.